Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Welcome and happy Sunday to everybody, and welcome to the 2350 Effect. I am the co-host, co-creator, collaborator of the 2350 Effect, Damian Kinsey, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my collaborator of the Virtual Wellness Summit, which is coming up next month, the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, which happens in October, and as always, the 2350 Network. Dr. Farron, introduce yourself and talk a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tanya Farron, the co-host along with Damian of this great show, the 2350 Effect, as well as a co-collaborator on the Virtual Wellness Experience, the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, and owner of Creative Living Ideas. And by day, I am a middle school principal. So lots of great things that I do and enjoy. And tonight's topic is one that is just something that I am excited for us to talk about, especially with the Virtual Wellness Experience coming up. So I'm excited about this topic. Are you prioritizing wellness or are you putting it off? Great topic. Excellent topic.
Yes, it's definitely a great topic, and I wouldn't be your co-host and collaborator if I didn't mention that you have authored over 9-10 books, right?
Yes, I have. I am the author of 9 different books, and Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, A Parent's Manual is the one that I focus most of my energy on, and host my show Parent to Parent on Mondays and talk to parents and experts in the parenting field. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Damian. I appreciate that. Oh my gosh, look at all these people in here we've got. Thank you so much for joining us, Kenneth and William and Carlise and John. Thank you for being here, Linda Cox. Appreciate seeing you again. Christy Williams, marvelous to see you. Leslie Flowers, hello there, friend. Linda Meyer, thank you for joining us. Coach Carey, thank you for joining us. And I'm going to go back and watch your show full. I caught the last 10 minutes of it or so, but I will go back and watch it. So it's great to see everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight for this event.
Same. All right. And if you've been joining us before, please drop your name, your information in so we can, continue to follow you through the process. And as always, we always start with a laugh, or call, or text. Laugh, call, text is that thing in the last 7 days. Yes, 7 calendar days that made you either laugh out loud, call, or text. My laugh, call, text this week is very simple. I'm focused on the All-Star game.
And do you want to tell them what you said to me?
So that's the laugh. So we were talking and we were having a conversation, and Dr. Farron was like, "Are you trying to get rid of me?" I said, "Yeah, we have the All-Star game today." I was actually watching the All-Star game, so I'm not really trying to get rid of her. I was just joking about it, but I did want to watch the end of the All-Star game.
I love it. I can appreciate that. My husband.
The basketball All-Star game, for those people who don't know, they have like an international U.S. format, Olympic style.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're going to watch that. So we'll make sure that we zip on through this show to get Damien to be able to watch that. And because I respect that. We've been watching college softball all day. So believe me, I understand. Well, my laugh, call, or text was a bit of a chuckle. I felt that I had myself. Dear Leslie Flowers had messaged me some questions about the virtual wellness experience. She is an amazing sponsor for our virtual wellness experience. And she'd asked me some questions. And I said, Leslie, I'm sorry, I've been out of town just goofing off again. And so I kind of chuckled at myself. I hope she understood the humor behind it. But oh my gosh, sometimes I disassociate from all my socials and just go have some fun. And so I was kind of chuckling to myself about that. I hope you guys have all done that as well, taking a little bit of time away and just for yourself, just to have some fun. Just goof off. When was the last time you just got to goof off?
I guess maybe last month. Yeah,
Okay.
last month I went on vacation.
We might need to make this a show. That might need to be make this a show. When was the last time you goofed off?
I agree. I think that's a good one as well. Speaking of Leslie Flowers, she's our sponsor. She's a great sponsor for our show. This is her logo for Leslie Flowers. She's doing so many amazing things. Dr. Fanny, you want to take this away?
Yeah, I do. So we want to give a shout out to Leslie for being an amazing gold level sponsor for the virtual wellness experience. And make sure that if you have not, make sure that you are tuning into her weekly live streams. Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern time is Mind Over Matter Mondays. And then she sort of wraps it all up on Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern with the Think and Grow Rich principles, leadership, and laws. And so check that out. If you want to read more about her, I've got some posts about her in my profile. So if you'll go to my profiles, you can check that out and learn a little bit more about the amazing Leslie Flowers. She is also a 2350 Network member.
Yes, she definitely is a 2350 Network member. And you also can see the post on the 2350 Network page. Thank you, Leslie. All right. So our topic is: are you prioritizing wellness, and are you putting it off? As we talked about it, we kind of started with that conversation on what was the last time you goofed off and you did wellness, and we talked about Leslie Flowers, talking about getting your mind right. First question I kind of want to ask is: are you placing your energy on other people's wellness? So those people out there, think about that. Please feel free to comment, put it in the comment section. I want to know, are you placing your energy into other people's wellness?
And that is such a really good question. While people are answering that, we think about that often. A lot of times as caregivers, family members, we encourage other people to be able to, to grow, to, find their wellness, give them time and space, but we forget about ourselves sometimes and we encourage other people often. So I love that question. I think that's really a good one to think about.
So you know where that came from?
Where?
I've told this story before, but some people out there might have not seen it, heard the story. I remember going away on vacation. I went to Disney. This wasn't the last time, it was the time before that. I've been there several times. So I went there, and it's not about bragging about being there. Like, I go there and it's always an exciting, a nice place, and I always can be able to decompress. And when I went there, I went for about 5 days. I came back, sat on my sofa, and still was exhausted.
Yes.
And I was putting so much energy into everybody around me, my family, my friends, my work, my everything. And this had to be about 8 years ago. And I came back and I was exhausted, so tired. And the ironic part about it is my phone rang, and I was having a conversation with my mentor, and she was like, "Do you want to come down to the DMV and kind of work down there?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And this is that mid-level exhaustion, and running and doing so much for everybody and prioritizing everybody's wellness, that I was so drained and I didn't even understand the warning signs of what burnout was. That was the first time I actually learned and understood what burnout was. That's why the virtual wellness experience is so important to me as well. in this topic, in this conversation, because I didn't even understand the warning signs of it. And that I was experiencing.
You're right. That is exactly correct. And, even in this platform, and I think you gave an amazing example that we don't recognize it in ourselves. We can recognize it in other people. And even good stress is stress, So like you were on vacation, you were at Disney, the happiest place on earth, right? And you were exhausted from the trip.
Yeah. Happiest place on earth and the most exhausted person on earth.
Right.
Hand in hand.
Exactly. And so, when you sit and you think about that, you don't really digest and think and do a self-check on yourself of like, am I okay at this point in time? But also I want to say that a lot of times we think about doing other things. Like in the mornings, I oftentimes can get stuck on my computer before I have to log into my day job, and I'll be posting and commenting and talking and making appointments with people or planning the virtual wellness experience. And then I forget, hello, what about your wellness, Tanya? Maybe it's time to get up and get moving, do some yoga, get on the treadmill. So prioritizing your own wellness or just taking a break from that even and I love doing all my creative living ideas work. I love getting the events prepared and my guests on my shows and things like that, but I have to remind myself to relax. So let's take a minute here and look at some comments we've got. So Linda Meyer, thank you so much for dropping this in here. For me to provide for and care for my family, I need to look after myself first. Not being selfish here, just reminding myself that I need to show by example and teach my kids that we're all important. Parents are people too. Yes, Linda, I love that. When you teach your kids that, they're learning how to respect themselves because, right, we are our child's first teacher. And so if they're seeing us love on ourselves by taking good care of ourselves, then they're going to do that too. John, thank you. Sometimes the most productive thing we can do is relax. You're so right. And let me tell you, it is hard sometimes to just relax. It's really healing too.
It definitely is. Like they talk about rest and sleep and having those opportunities. Those things are so important and relaxing. So thank you for saying that, John, and putting that out there in the air. Because we feel like sometimes our days, our weekends, that we have to do something. And no, you don't have to do anything. You can just relax.
Yeah. It's always nice. And you don't realize how much your body needs that relaxation because then all of a sudden you feel like amazingly energized and you're excited. So I love that so much. The next thing that I think that would be important for us to talk about today is, what does wellness mean to you? So those of you in the chat, there's a variety of things. And if you're going to learn a little bit more about the virtual wellness experience these next few weeks, but what does wellness mean to you? Because it means something different to everyone. So those of you in the audience, would you please drop in, what does wellness mean to you? Damien, what does wellness mean to you while they're dropping in?
I think I kind of alluded to it a little bit. It's about prioritizing yourself. Taking time to pause, removing stressful opportunities, drinking water,
yes,
and sleep.
Yes. Do you remember when we first started together? How many hours of sleep were you getting, Damien?
Oh, master the 4-5. 4-5 hours sleep. And I know people, when I tell people that I mastered the 4-5 hours sleep a day, sometimes 3. I don't know how I was able to make it and do it, but I did it. And when I see others doing, I'm like,
yeah, right.
Those days.
And that's one of the things I just want to say, like, it's amazing to be able to learn from so many people. And that's what this experience, that's what this show is about, is, bringing information to people to help them learn and grow. And we have evolved, Damien, you and I have both evolved in different ways, just based upon the people that we have really learned from. And I would say for me, wellness is a combination. Like, I think I always thought wellness was health and fitness, that's wellness. Throw in some nutrition, but there's a lot of things to wellness that are, when, being able to control your mind in a sense of not having so much worry, or, being able to take control of your financial situations. Those are big pieces that also impact our health and wellness if we have things like that that are out of control. And I had never really thought about that until we started, working on these projects together and developing what wellness means, healthy relationships. And you don't really think that that's all part of wellness. So
I think that's a great part that you put those things out there, because you're talking about, like, when you think about wellness, you don't think about financial wellness, you don't think about relationships at time. You think because these people or things are in your life that they're supposed to be the way they are, or that's just the way it is. That's just
right.
that's who they are. And the reality is, a lot of that stuff can cause stress, and stress is about wellness. And life is. A lot of it is about having fun, enjoying things, enjoying opportunities, and sitting in those spaces and places where you can have fun and be around people who uplift you or things that uplift you, and those things are so important about wellness. And it goes back to what I was just saying in the beginning, like, we're putting this energy into so many things that we might be prioritizing everybody else's health and wellness besides ourselves, not going to the doctor, not taking the time to, when you get paid or you do buying something for yourself, whether it's, it could be a book to journal, and having that stuff for yourself and just taking that time to say, hey, I'm going to do this for me instead of doing it for everyone else.
Right. Exactly. I love that. Thank you, Linda, for sharing that. There are a lot of components to providing whole health, wellness, housing, food and water. Like, those are all things, right, that are required for our health and wellness. Love that. And I agree, Coach Carrie, so many different components of wellness for sure. I think we went into those 8 dimensions of wellness at one point in time, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think we did. And it's so great to be able to collaborate with people who are experts in their field that connect to your wellness, and, taking a whole piece of what do we need, looking at it all and thinking, well, these pieces I'm feeling confident in, this piece I'm feeling good, this piece is a little unstable for me. I need to maybe work on that. So I love that.
I do have another question.
Sure.
Do you ever find yourself not having enough energy?
Yes.
Okay. So it kind of made me think about this is, like, remember we talked about Damien was running around being the master of the 4-5 hour sleep. And I would be so exhausted and not have enough sleep. And then it'll always be that time. It'll be like 3-4 months in. It'll be on a Saturday, and I'll do 13 hours sleep, and I'll be so rejuvenated. Or I'll just sleep all day, like in and out. But knowing that my energy level wasn't the same, and being able to, like, get up. I will always get up for stuff and have to pull myself to force my energy up to do certain things, because I was so tired. What about you? Have you known about yourself an energy level?
Yeah, it was a long process. And so those of you in the audience, if you're going through the process, I'm still going through the process. But if you're going through the process, of searching for your wellness, make sure that you are, being kind to yourself. And I've taken some time to learn about this and learn what does rest mean for me. And sometimes rest means like Damien is saying, like physically resting. And sometimes it means for me to be doing one of my hobbies that brings me joy. That's another way that I rest. And sometimes for me, that means a really high intense workout, because that really helps me get a lot of stress and energy off of my body. So I have to determine which one of those do I want. And I remember, like Damien is just now saying, I remember my therapist saying to me, because I would say, oh, I do really good on Sundays because I spend all Sundays and I do this and I read and I journal and I do yoga and I do this. And she said, how can you incorporate some of that into every day? Oh. Then I was like, oh, I just felt like Sunday was maybe the day I was just making it all up for myself and finding that way to do those little pieces every day to give myself something. And I'm going to give you an example. When I was goofing off last week, I mean, I was working, but I was out of town visiting a friend in Iowa, and I was the first one up every day. And I normally, with my husband, watch the news, drink the coffee, unload the dishwasher. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to sit and drink my coffee and read a book in silence. And I just sat in a spot for an hour every day, and it was beautiful. My friends were still sleeping. It was wonderful. So find those little moments every day for yourself. I love that. Leslie, I know I love a good nap. So I'm all about a good power nap. I do recommend that as well for those that can do that. Yes, Nick, you are a go girl. And tell Nellie we said hi.
Yes, thank you so much for that. You know, and I love the echoes of the individuals out there talking about the naps and sleep and getting that energy level back. Also, like the food you eat and whatnot. So there's so many great conversations going on from this layers to it.
There really are. Absolutely.
So how about you? What's your next question?
Well, I wanted to talk about, what types of hobbies or activities that, bring you joy. What are some things, those of you in the audience, that you do that bring you joy and reduce that level of stress for you? That you either do make time for or you would like to make some time for. I mean, we may as well make this conversation about maybe, an actionable step that you can take away from this and you can put into practice. But what is some type of hobby or activity? Now, those of you that know me really well know that on Wednesday nights, I play golf with women. And I don't have meetings on Wednesdays. I am off. Wednesday nights, I don't take calls. I don't take meetings. I don't try to do anything. That is my golf night. That is my joyful activity on Wednesday evenings. What is yours? How about you, Damien?
I always take time to myself and reflect. I always talk about the importance of having the meetings with yourself. Those things are so important. Having those conversations, planning stuff out, going through pros and cons. Those things are so important. And yeah, you really can put off wellness. Simple stuff like going to the doctor, putting off difficult conversations can provide a level of wellness that is not in place. But I always try to have those conversations with myself, be true to myself, and try to not put off difficult conversations.
I agree. It is. There's a lot of things that you can do and put your wellness off. Not like you said, not make those doctor's appointments, not go, and not be active. And, there's a lot of intentionality that has to go behind it, I think. Even with hobbies, a lot of people say, well, I don't really have any hobbies. Well, what can you do? What is something you can do to kind of change your brain or get your body moving, or doing something like that? And I know that we can often get stuck in a rut. I'll give you an example. Last night, my husband and I had just finished watching a movie and we were kind of being couch potatoes. And I was like, well, it was fun. It was only like 8:00. And I said, okay, let's get up and go play a game. Let's get up from the couches, go to the table. We played a game. We had a blast. We were laughing. We turned on some great music. It was really nice. And it sort of kind of flipped our mode that we were in. And that took intentionality. And even before then, we knew we were going to watch this movie in the evening and we had all day to do all sorts of things. Believe me, I am not perfect. So I'm just giving you an example. But we had things to do. And I said, it had been raining most of the day. I said, let's go outside for a while. We picked up some sticks in the yard, things like that, just to get us moving because we knew we were going to sit on the couch. So I love that. So thank you so much, John. Reading, going for walks, exercise. That's a great hobbies to have. Linda, going solo walks, cycling, gardening. Yes, gardening is joyful. I do agree. Music brings you joy. I love that. Coach Carrie, live streams, engaging, reading, swimming, naps, helping people retire with dignity. I love that. Kenneth likes taking naps. I used to think that taking naps were what only geriatric people do. I have news for you. I've taken a nap forever, no matter what my age was. My kids still love them. I love that. So thank you so much for dropping those in. Cooking and baking, Linda. Yes. Those are great hobbies and activities.
That is definitely a good one because that teaches you patience.
Yes.
I like that one as well.
I would like to acknowledge, hi, Charito. Thank you so much for joining us today, as well as Linda and John and Coach Carrie and Annie, Christina. It's so great to see you. Nick, thanks for popping in. Kenneth, appreciate you so much for coming. We really do. It's so kind of you to take time out of your Sunday evening to join us. We really do love that. So thanks for being there. Blessing, thank you for being here as well. I thought I had scrolled up enough. Thank you so much. So with that being said,
yes, taking time out for yourself to help and also be part of this live stream is so important. So we appreciate it. And having this conversation and talking about prioritizing wellness, we do always lean on people who can actually help with prioritizing wellness. So we do have a special guest who has come in to help us prioritize wellness. You want to introduce our special guest and why?
I do want to introduce. So she is a 2350 Network member. She is a personal trainer. I said personal coach. She's a personal trainer, as well as she has been an athlete, a college softball athlete. She is a high school coach, as well as a club travel softball team coach. She is my daughter. Her name is Lexi Romerl. And I wanted to bring her on the show tonight live. I wanted her live with us to share some wellness tips that she has shared with her players and that she has used herself as a team member. However, she's coaching tonight. The girl's always coaching a team or helping a group of young women learn the game and the sport. And so she did do an amazing recording for us. So I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to make a comment and drop a question in here. We can always tag her in this and make sure that she gets that. Oh, that sounds good, Kenneth.
Hi, everybody. I am Lexi Romerl. I am a NASM certified personal trainer. I work in college athletics. I was a college softball player a long, long time ago, almost 10 years ago, actually. And I'm a state champion head softball coach. So I've been around the block a time or two about wellness and training and being in the head of an athlete, myself and with other athletes surrounding me. So thank you to Dr. Farron and to Damien for letting me send in this video. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there in person today. I'm actually training a team tonight. So I wanted to send this in just so that I could have a couple talking points and hopefully help out in any way that I can. So I'm here to talk about how wellness is built in the small daily choices. I talk a lot to my athletes specifically about how if we stack our days over and over and over again and get 1% better every single day, then we will eventually become hundreds and hundreds and hundreds % better of our previous person, our previous self. So everyone's busy, but wellness just doesn't happen by accident, and wellness can mean different things to different people. So if you have a goal, think about what that is, and then think about how you can stack your day over and over and over again. Instead of just saying, I want to start tomorrow, or maybe it will happen to me one day, like just take the day and just do something. So we're going to talk about what that means a little bit, or I'm going to talk about what that means a little bit. And then Dr. Farron and Damien will sort of elaborate on that. The first thing that I want to talk about is preparation removes decision fatigue. Preparation really is the only thing that can truly breed confidence. So if you are the first time in a gym, or maybe it's the first time you're ever working with a personal trainer, or maybe you just really don't know what you're doing, getting as prepared as possible and then jumping in. Meal prep, plan out your workouts, book the class. If it's the first time you're going to a workout class, book it the night before. If you do these things, then the next day you'll wake up and then you won't have to think about what you need to do. You can just jump right in and do that workout, go to that class, have that meal ready for you to eat. And it's just an easier way so that you're not thinking, oh, I don't really know what to do, or I don't have enough time. If you practice out or plan out a 30-minute workout and you only have 30 minutes, then you already know that you have plenty of time. The second thing is discipline over motivation. Motivation is so fleeting, especially for if you live in somewhere like St. Louis, which is where I live, and the weather's bad. If you have a rainy day, if you have a snowy day, maybe one day you have a really sunny day and you're just so motivated to go out and run or walk or do something. Discipline, waking up every single day, knowing that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and never having to rely on motivation because motivation is so fleeting. I think about this a lot, and I tell my athletes this as well. If you had a group of people waiting on you to go to the gym or go to the yoga class or go to the cycling class or do whatever, would you let them down? Would you not show up? If you had a team of people there waiting for you to walk in the door, would you get up and go? And a lot of the time, 90% of the time, they say yes. So why would you let yourself down when you wake up? Right? Why would you, if you were the only person in the gym, there's nobody to say you weren't here, but why would you let yourself down if you wouldn't let your friends down? So think about that. Discipline, stacking days over and over, getting 1% better every single day. The third thing is to move as a thank you to your body. Just move because you're able to. What a gift, honestly. I mean, I know at the Thanksgiving table every single year I say, like, I'm just so grateful for an able body. And I know that not everyone is lucky to have that. And so move as a thank you. You don't need to be throwing around hundreds of pounds. If you want to, please do. I love that. That's something that I also, aspire to be doing every day. But if you want to go for a walk, go for a walk. If you think that playing with your kids is the only activity you're going to be able to have that day, do it. If you need to go for a run, go for a run. Move as a thank you to your body. And if you do it every day over and over and over again, then you will be so much happier, honestly, I think. I'm not a therapist, but I think so. The last thing that I want to talk about is to be process-oriented and not outcome-obsessed. A lot of times, if we're on our first wellness journey or if we've had a lot of failed wellness journeys in the past, it can be really, really hard to step on the scale and not see any results. Get in those pants that you thought was going to fit and they don't quite yet, but they might, maybe just a little bit. If we are stacking days over and over and over again, showing up for ourselves, not letting ourselves down, then our process will become a result. We will see that with every single day, over and over and over again, our outcomes will be beneficial to us. We'll be happier. We'll be able to plan things better. Our decision fatigue will go down. We'll become more prepared. I said at the beginning of this video, preparation breeds confidence. So the more that we prepare, the more confident we become. When we prepare, we become confident over day. Then we will have a better process. Then our outcome just really won't matter so much to us. And then one day we'll wake up and we'll just get what we want. And it may take years. It may take months, whatever our goal is. If we're not obsessed with the end, we'll fall in love with the process. So that was a quick, it looks like I'm at 6 minutes. So that was a really quick 6 minutes. Thank you for listening to me talk honestly at you, but I would love to connect with you. Connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is Lexi Romerl. I put my socials on the post, so you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. I am a NASM certified personal trainer. I do virtual personal training, and it's for a very low price if you're interested in doing that. I would love to connect with you if you have questions about anything. Thank you for joining this video. Thank you for supporting Damien and Dr. Farron, and best of luck on your wellness journey.
I mean, I can't help it. Every time I listen to her, I think to myself, why is she so smart? I don't know. I sit there and I think about that. I go through and I take my notes from her and listen about that. And I'm just always amazed and bring something back from it. And I'll give you an example for sure about this. But Damien, go ahead. Why don't you respond?
No, real quick, connect with Lexi on LinkedIn. Like she said, she's open to having a conversation with you. She's open to coaching and supporting. So I think it's a great conversation. I think something that she said so important, prioritizing wellness and prioritizing yourself over, trying to build those habits.
Yes.
Instead of, get that level of dedication to it, because you know what, saying I want to go to the gym or do this and that, it happens for a while. That's why a lot of times they have the sales during the year. People go to the gym in the beginning. I had a friend of mine who was saying I can't wait till the fat of the gym is over because it's so crowded.
Mm-hmm.
She's so dedicated to going to the gym. It's a level of consistency.
Sure.
It's what she signed up for to go in, instead of it's something that her brain wants to go. Your brain has to get to the point where you're doing wellness, even though you don't want to do it. When you're tired, when you're hungry, when you're sleepy, when you're thirsty, you're doing it. That level of dedication is so important. So I wanted to highlight when she was talking about that.
Yeah, I really do. I love that. She's always been, and when I said she's, smart, she's always been an old soul, and so she's always had this advice that even as a young child, she would come to me and would advise me, and I would be like, wow, that's pretty good. Where did that come from? But what I wanted to take from this is that, for myself, I can tell you, I use her as my personal trainer. So just so you know that. And a lot of you know that I started doing Weight Watchers. It is not a plug for them, but I started that program in May. And I had said, by this date, I want to be this weight. And she was like, okay, hold on a minute here. Let's not put markers down on this. Let's just get started and go through the process. And, it's really important to be able to do that, because we do get hung up on some type of outcome. And we aren't really watching the process, how it has improved, whether you're making better food choices most days, or you're moving more, or things like that. And so there are those things that I listen to about her, and I remember that I'm not to the weight I wanted to be by December, and it is now February. And so, but there's so many other things that have improved from that. And I enjoy that. And you know what? I think the part that I loved was, thanking your body for the movement that you have, whether it's the fingertips that are working across the keyboard, the eyes that are moving, whatever. Let's think about being grateful for the movement of the body. I knew, Jackie, that one of y'all would pick up on that and giggle about that. I do love that she did that. True trip, the true reality. Sometimes she just calls me Tanya, even at home. Our kids have called us Tanya and Ron forever, and they just think that's funny. They just think that's funny, and we just let them do it. We don't even care. I love it. I love it.
I also like how I think Jackie caught it too as well, about letting yourself down when she talked about it.
Yes.
Why would you let yourself down? I think that's so important. She also talked about those. I always talk about it as well. Those small victories, like you're setting a goal of, I want to lose 2 pounds. Like, for instance, this is an example.
Sure.
And you lose 1 pound. You're not celebrating the fact that you created this routine, this process that that's making you happy is bringing your energy up. And just because you didn't make the 2 pounds and you made the 1, you should honor the journey as well. And I love that she said that. I always talk about the positive and seeing the process is a positive thing. So I like that she said that.
I love that. And I love that, Kimberly, what you shared in there, like hiking, beach walk, swimming, dancing. Think outside of that box for that personal wellness. You're absolutely right. Love that. Thanks, Coach Carrie. I do have a great relationship with my kids, and I do love them so much.
I think it was great. It was great that she was able to share that in a 7-minute span and have that conversation. And you could tell by the chat that in the comments that it's a lot of like fruitful stuff that's coming out of it. You know, one of my highlights as far as like wellness and having a conversation was, you know, I told you before, like one of the things I wanted to do was have Lexi and you on and Annika on and have a conversation. And we did that. And I think it was so positive to have those conversations, you know. And she took time out of her day to shoot that video and have it. And she's also coaching and taking care of other young people and young ladies and setting the table for them as well with their level of wellness, their softball and building those habits. And I was watching the Olympics and you saw how, you know, they brought their coaches from middle school and elementary school and high school to come, and their amateur coaches to come and have the conversations, and they surprised them and they were talking about them and they didn't even know they were there. You know, those are so many things that set the table for people's careers. I remember my mentors and my coaches who have set the table for me. So it's so important that I appreciate that she's out there helping these young ladies be the next generation of support of other people.
Yeah. And so all of you, if any of you are on TikTok, follow her on TikTok. She does some really great, she does work in sports athletics. And so by day, and so she's got some really great day in the life of, and she works for corporate sponsorship for the St. Louis Billikens. And right now their basketball team is, I think they're 22-1 right now. So they are having a phenomenal season and she does a great job with that. Speaking of basketball,
put it in the chat when you get a chance.
Yes, I will. I'll put it in the chat. Absolutely.
All right. So that it's like, please drop in your comments for Lexi inside the chat in the comment section. I'm gonna put her LinkedIn page inside the comments so people can, you know, respond to her, tag her. Tell her that you saw her on the live. You want to connect with her. She's a great person and a human being, positive energy as well. So in the chat, reach out to her, connect with her as well, and throw in your questions and whatnot as well.
You can tell her that Dr. Farron sent you.
No. It's always funny when she does that and says that. I'm like, oh, okay.
She's sweet and respectful.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
I call my father by his first name. So my whole lineage, my father before him, we all did the first name thing.
First name. Isn't that fun? I love that. All
right. So we do have the virtual wellness experience coming up, which is the I guess it sets the table for all these conversations around wellness, which is taking place.
Oh my gosh, March 21st and 22nd. It is almost here. We are 32 days away. So when you go to Creative Living Ideas, I'll drop the link in here as well. When you go to Creative Living Ideas, you can click to come and look at this and sign up. Once you sign up, this is the lobby of the event, you guys. It's so cool. And so it's a virtual event. And so you can be at home in your pajamas. It's a Friday and a Saturday. You can see who the speakers are. All of their bios are here and all their beautiful faces are here with us. You can see who all the speakers are of the event. You can also see all of the sessions and what time they are. We've got a person every hour on the hour. We've got some important vendors that'll be sharing some things. So we've got Dr. Mel Vandevort and Jackie Hallberg that are going to be doing some vendor time with us. As well as other presentations that are coming. Damien is going to talk on the power of self-reflection. And then we start day 2 when when we start with a meet and greet just to get everybody in and welcome everybody. We always like to drink our coffee together and hang out and visit a little bit. And then we've got some other amazing presenters, another vendor spotlight opportunity, more presentations, and then I'm going to wrap it up with Better Together, practical steps for finding your social circle. And so that is it. And you can go to creativelivingideas.com to be able to get tickets. They are available. You can talk to your work, tell them you want to attend this professional development. Maybe they'll pay for it for you, at least give you the time off for it. And join us. It's going to be really fun.
Yes, and the link is in the chat. It looks something like this. And also, you can go to Creative Living Ideas, which is scrolling across the screen, and go to the page and get your tickets as well. I do suggest you get your tickets now because they will. I know people last minute, they try to get tickets, and it's very hard to get tickets on a day of.
Yeah, absolutely. Grab your tickets and come join us. You can buy a single day ticket also if you don't want to buy the 2-day ticket. But then the other thing that's important to know also is that it is recorded. And so those recordings are available to you for 30 days. So you can always go back and rewatch them and, take your notes on them because, there's nothing worse than being at a workshop and then going, now, what did they say again? Shoot, I wrote this note down and I don't remember what it means. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but you definitely have that. So yeah, there's a lot of great topics in here, Coach Carrie. And thank you, Richard, for joining us and Bobby for joining us. Those of you that have popped in, if you want to catch anything in the beginning, just go on back and watch the replay. Or if you're watching this on replay, comment #replay. And thank you so much for joining us for that replay. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, we definitely really appreciate that. And also tag somebody, let somebody know that this live is taking place and that they can actually see it. We have time and whatnot. So speaking of the virtual wellness experience, which used to be the virtual wellness summit, so there's so much going on. You see what's going on there. What is one of those tips for wellness that stuck out for you at any of the virtual wellness experience or the virtual wellness summit?
Oh gosh, there was a few. Most of mine, I would say the first two, I'm just going to say the first two that popped into my mind. And they're simple, but they stood out and I practice them now. I remember that one of them, Heidi Wild, had talked about, she was actually talking about gut health. And we were talking about water. And she talked about how, your heart is a muscle and, we don't drink water the whole time we're sleeping, obviously. So get up in the morning and drink a glass of water to start to hydrate yourself instead of going right for that cup of coffee. Grab a glass of water and hydrate yourself. And I do that now. And I do feel so much better and so much more alert. And I am thirsty by then. I don't really realize that, but I am. So that was just a kind of a piece of advice. And then the other one was from Tina Sasso, who is also a network member. And she gave some recipes for some foods, and the overnight oats, she had put her protein powder in it. And I never thought about putting the protein powder in the overnight oats at all to add some additional protein. And it was really delicious. And I still do both of those things to this day. And those were just two little simple pieces that came right to my mind. How about you, Damien?
I'm going to kind of go with Tina. And I think, Tina, you gotta give yourself a little bit more credit. Those people out there, Tina Sasso, I'm gonna tag her so she can know I am talking about her right now, and you were talking about her because when I say this, Christy will know exactly what I'm talking about. The restful reset, and it's so important for someone who has spent so much time living in the 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Having that restful reset is so important because you're tired and you don't want to take the time. Having that restful reset was so important, what she talked about. And then a topic that I think always will stand out to me is 2 different topics. One was Jackie talking about what happens when you have family members who kind of unbalance you.
Yes.
And, your level of wellness and not thinking about your family can actually disrupt what's going on with you. And what do you do with that? And then the other two was kind of with Lee Forrester, Coach Lee Forrester, who's a registered nurse, who talked about, Tina's a nurse as well, who talked about, you know, that conversation and that feeling of, like, you know, fitting in your genes. And then the other part about it is, like, how do you eat well when you don't cook? When you don't know how to cook.
Yeah.
Like, it was something like that. And then talked about thinking about, you know, cooking from a framework and eating, and where do you get your nutrients from? Where do you get your healthy food from? And it always stuck out to me. And she talked about, you know, the obsession of fitting in your genes, and it's not about fitting in your genes. It's feeling good in your own self, in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was so important when she talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So those things stood out for me. And Jackie talking about, you know, family unbalancing you.
Yeah.
Jackie, you out there? Can you put the actual title in the comments for me?
Yeah, I know. And I know that she's also talked about burnout. I think that was her very first thing at the Work-Life Balance Summit, was burnout. And that was really helpful too. Like, for a lot of people, I think they really just, like you had said, kind of were able to identify what does that mean. So yeah, absolutely.
So
I love that.
those things kind of stood out to me the most. So.
Absolutely.
And if you could tell those had an impact on us, the virtual wellness experience have an impact on you as well. Reaching out. Oh yeah, Chrissy talked about, and this is the topic. Family balancing you, and Jackie put it in there. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Absolutely. I agree. And this, you know, and again, this time the event is going to be great. We've got a lot of really good topics. You know, Felipe is going to talk about networking and social media. Dr. Hutchins is going to talk about the Mosaic family. And I've had him on my Parent to Parent show twice. So you can dig into my profile and watch some of those if you want to get a kind of a sneak peek. I know we didn't go into this, but this is Lee Forrester. She's going to talk about your voice, your direction, your choice. I love this topic. Who helps the helpers? So anybody that is, like, you know, caring for someone, whether you're a parent or you're caring for another person, who helps the helpers? Love this. You know, Leslie is always helping us with our brain work, right? If you know anything about Think and Grow Rich, you're learning about any of those practices. Leslie's going to talk about how to rewire your brain for wealth, health, and happiness. And you're going to talk about the power of self-reflection, whole body wellness, restore balance from the inside out. Burnout Proof Your Brain is Dr. Claire Jacobs. Strong Mind, Strong Leader from Dr. Rowe. Healthy Relationships and Increasing Intimacy from Jackie. Carlise Austin is going to talk about the importance of shadow work. Martha is going to talk about My Breakdown Became My Breakthrough. And she's going to share some personal stories. So really excited. And, you know, we meet with our presenters. We're going to meet with them 3 times before we even do this event. So we really get to know them, and they become, you know, part of our community. And we love that.
And that the thing about my topic, the power of self-reflection is important, but the other piece of that topic, the title of the topic really is reading the room is a lost art.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of, like, having a conversation around self-reflecting and reading the room. As people and individuals, when it comes to wellness, we struggle with self-reflecting at times, and reading the room is so important as well. You know, you don't have to say everything, you don't have to do everything, but you have to do something. And that's the conversation we're going to talk about: self-reflecting and reading the room, and making yourself well. Yeah.
Yes, Jackie, we've got some really great new speakers joining us for this event. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
Wow, time went by really quick.
I know. It always flies by. Those of you, thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. If you have a question for myself or Damien, or for Lexi, I know some of you, I've watched a couple of you. I'll go back in and tag her on some of those. Go ahead and connect with her on LinkedIn. She's active on all forms of social media. And you can ask her your questions. Again, I do her personal training program. It's super easy, not easy. It's a virtual program. So she gives you some things. She'll explain it to you if you're interested in that. And then if you have questions for Damien and or I, please reach out to us. If you want to learn more about anything with the 2350 network, if you're wanting to learn more about the virtual wellness experience, and if you're wanting to learn more about the 2350 effect, the show that's on Sunday nights, you have an idea for our show, you would like to join us on our show, please let us know and we can work on, getting that scheduled. Okay.
Yes, and you can visit the 2350 Network page on LinkedIn. If you are not following us on the 2350 Network page, please do so and go to the 2350 Network page. We do want to make sure you're up to the minute and know what's going on in the network. And if you want to be a 2350 Network member, please let us know as well.
Coach Carrie, that date is March 2nd. We are having our network meeting that night, and I will get that to you. So make sure that you have that information. And we are having bring a guest night, friend and family night.
Yeah. And also follow us on YouTube as well. Connect on YouTube so you can make sure you get all the replays. You can go back, you can follow on the Creative Living Ideas YouTube page. So you can see the 2350 effect and not miss anything. We're here every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Although we won't be here next Sunday, but we will be here next Sunday.
Correct.
That's kind of confusing, right?
Stay tuned for that.
I mean, be here next Sunday. All right. So we have these conversations. They're so fun. They're energizing. And they always leave us thinking about so many things, right?
Oh, you go first because I wanted a different quote. I'm sorry. It's my fault. Those of you that are in the audience, will you put in a quote that is near and dear to you that you would like to share?
Yeah, drop that quote in that is so near, dear to you, that you enjoy, that sticks out to you. We love hearing the quotes. Inspiration is so important as well. I'm gonna make it simple. Lee Forrester always talks about just do the thing.
Just do the thing. I love that. She does say that all the time. Just do the thing.
Just do the thing.
Just do the thing.
Whatever it is, do the thing.
Just do the thing.
And she's basically saying, don't spend so much time overthinking about it. Just do it. Wherever you land is wherever you land.
I love it. She's right. True wellness, this is my quote, true wellness is not a destination, but a journey of nourishing the mind, body, and soul. We have to release that thought of we've got to get to the destination. Let's continue that journey of nourishing our mind, body, and soul.
Nice. I like that. And as always, those people out there, if you don't know what the 2350 effect is or the 2350 network and what it means is don't let 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt over 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. The 2350 network, it's time to connect.
Love that. And thank you, John and Kimberly, for dropping in some quotes. Anybody else have any quotes in there? Thank you for dropping those in as well. Sometimes we don't always see them.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, what a great, amazing Sunday. Thanks, everyone, for coming out, spending your Sunday with us, whether you're closing out your week or you are starting your week. We greatly appreciate your attendance with us, and we wish you well. Come join us. Come play with us. We love you.
I like that. And connect with Lexi again. Thank you. Thank Lexi again for joining us and supporting us. So support her, and tell her Dr. Tanya Farron sent her. All right.
I love
Good
it.
night, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.